Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 1635, written by Alittlebitmorbid. Jay, the being beyond reality. Jay, the ex of my mother, died. I was still close to him at that point, had just started to visit him more often. He died unexpectedly at the age of 49 of a heart attack. Drug abuse will do that, but he was sober for many years before he died. Weeks later, I saw a dark car at a grocery store I was just about to enter, not near where Jay had lived and worked, but close enough so it would have been possible to see the real Jay there if he had still been alive. The car was the exact same model and color, and even had a few feathers hanging down from the rear mirror just like Jay had in his car. That seemed weird, but not unusual. But then a guy came out of the store. Same height, same hair color and style, same clothing style, even tattoos on his arms where Jay had them. Looked exactly like Jay. So weird. I was trying not to stare, and he was going to drive off when he passed me. He smiled at me with that big friendly grin, sunglasses on, and waved his hand in the exact same manner Jay used to, blasting Jay's favorite band, Rammstein. I still can't wrap my head around this. A car that looked like Jay's, I get it. There must be many more like that out there. But all the other coincidences? Second weird thing that happened to me. I sometimes have weird thoughts. I'd walk through the city and suddenly it'd cross my mind that person X could be here. And then a few minutes later, I see X in a store or walking by. Happened with a friend whom I'd never met at that point. We met online, but lived only 20 kilometers away from each other. Oh, A could be shopping here today. And it has a certain weird feeling to it. Also happened with a pretty random person. Girlfriend of my driving instructor. Met her once, just had small talk. Went into a store and thought of her crossed my mind. Went into the store and there she was. I had no idea why I was thinking of her. I had nothing to do apart from meeting her through my driving instructor. Another time, and this one is really strange, I got the same weird feeling when visiting the big cats exhibit in a zoo. I saw the zookeeper feeding the lions. He looked ill and tired and really down. Then I thought, oh, he will die soon. I'm a nurse, so yes, when somebody has an ill-looking skin color, I know things are already not great, but I don't jump to such weird things thinking about strangers. And I had the impression he'd die of something else, not illness. Maybe because he looked so tired? I thought mistakes could be easily made, which can be a life or death thing with big cats. Felt intrusive, I guess. I kid you not, 2 weeks later, his death made headlines in a bigger local newspaper, and even some TV stations reported it. He entered the tiger exhibit, but had left a flap open, which allowed one of the tigers to get back in and kill him with a single neck bite. Such a horrible death. But I knew it before it happened. Case notes for file 1635. Jay, the being beyond reality. I have a Patreon. If you'd like to go and support the channel or just get more content, head on over and check it out. Link is in the description. Now onto the notes. So was this a total coincidence? I'm definitely leaning away from it because of so many similarities. The car, the feathers in the car, the way he dressed, everything like that. I mean, yeah, doppelgangers tend to look alike, of course, in their facial and physical attributes, but not in the choices they make. The same car, the same feathers? No. The other possibility? He faked his death for some reason, maybe witness protection or just wanted to disappear. You know, a surprising amount of people fake their own deaths just to get away from their life that they didn't like. Not something I recommend doing, but it absolutely does happen, weirdly enough. Or lastly, maybe Jay is like Chuck, master of the universe, or the multiverse. He's secretly God and just playing around. I mean, if you were God, and you could do anything you wanted, you created this awesome universe or multiverse, and you could insert yourself into it, wouldn't you want to? To play as a character in that universe, and pretend that you're just normal? Maybe with some extra subtle powers sometimes, but generally you'd want to just have fun, right? Why would you create the universe as God or the creator if you didn't want to interact with it? You just want to observe? I guess observing is fun, but you would want to play as well. I know I would. And then for the ability to decode information from the future, a possible future, the one track you're on. I do believe the information is all out there, but it's only special minds that are able to decode that information. So, you're very special. Case file number 1636, written by VermicelliAdmirable, when tea time takes a glitchy turn. I just had the weirdest moment when making my tea. I wanted to specify this was such a minor event to preface, that this is not some weird large-scale thing like some of the most popular moments. Unfortunately, I was the only one to see or have it happen to, but my first thought was, that's a glitch. I was making my breakfast, which I always have tea with. Tea was mostly ready to go and I just had to add milk. It started pouring like normal, but then it started shooting out of the mug, also as a stream. This wasn't just me spilling it down the side of the mug or missing the mug. It was pouring into the mug normally for a moment, but then a second actual stream skipped out and over the edge of the mug. I stopped pouring immediately. A small little puddle of milk about 4 or 5 inches from the mug. It was just weird. And when I say it was flowing like normal, I mean it. If you imagine a laminar flow of milk out of the bag, then a separate laminar flow from the surface of the mug and onto the counter. Additional note, I'm in Canada, so the milk was pouring out of a bag. I want to specify this as it's just milk coming out of a small hole, not the jug or carton, where a lot can pour out at once. It's a tiny snip of the plastic edge. Caissons sur File 1636. When tea time takes a glitchy turn. Oh yeah, I remember those bags, those milk bags, the plastic bags of milk in Canada. It's been a while since I've been there, over almost 3 years now, and even then I wasn't buying milk. I was buying cashew milk and I still do. It's honestly delicious and even creamier for less calories, so give it a try if you haven't. But anyways, yes, they come in little bags and you just snip the end and it pours out that way. So I can't imagine how having a second stream makes any sense at all, unless gravity itself was warped around the nozzle that you create. Very bizarre, but outside of a gravity anomaly that is creating a separate, like a side stream, I don't know what could cause that. Case file number 1637, written by BusinessWeb 9223, The White Room. I've always had vivid, weird dreams, déjà vu, reoccurring dreams that seem to point to a random future event in my life, but this one was different. When I was about 12 years old, I had a dream of being in a white room, completely empty besides 2 white couches facing each other, about 8 feet apart. I was sitting in one, and there was a boy my age sitting in the other. We both looked confused, asking who the other was and why they were in our dream. We ended up hitting it off, having a generally short conversation and saying goodbye, never moving from our seats. Woke up, thought it was weird, but after a while I forgot about the whole thing. Then 4 years later, I fell asleep one night to find myself in that same white room. I immediately recognized the room, the couches, and the now 16-year-old boy that sat in front of me. Both of us looked at each other and then began to cry. I told him that I can't believe how much he's grown. He says the same to me. We catch up on random life events like old friends and about this crazy connection we have and how weird it is. We end up getting up out of the couches to embrace each other. It was such a heartfelt hug, and I told him I don't think we'll ever see each other again after this. He agreed, so we just hugged for a while, cried, wished each other luck, and eventually sat back down on the couches to awaken the next day. I'm now 21 and I still remember those dreams vividly, although his face sadly fades from my memory. I think about it sometimes and wonder if I'll ever meet my dream mate in the real world. Caissons sur File 1637, The White Room. It's like roots spreading underneath the ground in the soil, desperately searching for water and minerals. And they don't know where they're going, but when they latch onto it, they don't let go. They try not to. It's like your spiritual, metaphysical roots were spreading out. They connected with someone else that was searching for love, romance, platonic friendship, something deep, something truly deep. I guess you could say a soulmate, although I think there are multiple soulmates. Basically people that we are very well attuned for, that we would mesh with extremely well. More than just one for every person. I don't necessarily think it's an exact number. Maybe one person has 1,000, another person has 100, another person has 1,000,000. It's variable. But I do think they exist in that format. And I think you found one, at least in the dream state. The question is there any way to materialize this awesome find in real life? Maybe some sort of facial recognition? I guess that's reserved for police, so it'd be difficult to pull off. And I'm sure you've given it thought in a way to find this person. And I hope you manage it, because I think if you do, your lives would never be the same again. Now time for the quote of the day. It is a mistake to regard age as a downhill grade towards dissolution. The reverse is true. As one grows older, one climbs with surprising strides. George Sand. Yeah, people think of age as going downhill. It's all downhill from now. You're just pushing towards the center of the earth and you melt away in the extreme heat. No, I think aging is more like climbing up a hill or climbing up a tree. You're branching out, you're gaining knowledge and experience, and that's great. Now, I do hope we manage to find a cure for death itself, for the ailments that accompany aging. But aging itself, especially if you take care of yourself even now, stretch, work out, eat well, walk a lot, stay fit and in shape, if you do all those things in general, on average, you're going to live a long, healthy life and you won't have many diseases. So, that's the best you can do as things stand right now. And if you do those well, then you age gracefully, you don't really deteriorate much, and you gain wisdom and knowledge. Pretty good, I'd say. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.